Welcome back. We are busting some DevOps myths. At this point, we've knocked down the first two that have to do with quality, and you've created a roadmap to get you from your current position to the place where most DevOps teams are talking about, the place where these myths can start to become true. Now we're going to go after the third myth. And this one has to do with your job as a coach or a leader of a DevOps team. The myth is that DevOps is all about the pipeline. In fact, often it's described as DevOps, you just need to buy a CI/CD pipeline. It's about automating your deployment. It's about running your unit tests all the time. And your job as a leader or a coach is to remove obstacles. You're supposed to remove those obstacles, and then your engineers will go make it great. If you buy the tool, they promise, then they'll figure it out and they'll make it work. The problem is, it doesn't actually work that way. In any company that's getting started towards their DevOps journey, they have a significant existing culture. There is a way of doing development, and that way of doing development is fundamentally different from the post-DevOps way of doing development. So when we present these engineers with the great new tools, they figure out how to use them in the ways they understand. They apply their existing behaviors and mindsets onto the new tools. And the new tool is helpful at doing the old thing a little bit faster. And so your company, with its legacy debt and its other problems, continues to create exactly the same environment, experience, release cadence, and all the other things that you've got right now. You get the same business result for your large investment. We need to do more than just invest in tools. In fact, you don't need to buy the tool to fix the mindset. You can get a DevOps mindset without any of the tools. The tools were invented by teams who had already gotten to DevOps in order to make their jobs easier. But the reverse is not true. If you just buy the tool, you will not get the mindset. Therefore, as a coach or leader, your job is to focus on getting the new mindsets, the new cultures, the new behaviors, and then bring in the tool. With those mindsets, they will be able to leverage the tool. The other thing is it's critical to support and mentor the devs, to leverage the tool, and to adopt the new mindset. It's not just enough to give them a new environment, and it's not just enough to give them more feedback. Of course, your devs are the ones who told you that all they need is the new tool. In fact, it was your smartest devs who told you this. And in fact, your smartest devs are the ones who probably will succeed with the new tool. There are likely a few people in your company that already think and have previously behaved in a DevOps way. If they get the new tool, they will use it in a post-DevOps way. The problem is the rest. People who haven't seen those ways of working won't magically get them. And they need support, not feedback. If you just give a tool that tells them every time they're screwing it up, but don't give them any support on what they should do, life simply becomes frustrating. And the result is devs leave in droves, or they kick out the tool, or they find a way to bash the tool to fit so that it will stop screaming at them while they continue to do the old behavior. None of these are things that you need. So as you're developing a mentorship program, the question is, what do you really need? Well, first, you need to find some technically skilled people who have been to the land of DevOps before, who know what it is like to work there, and who know how to teach and communicate. And then you help them work with you on three things. The first is refactoring well. And this is a way that you can tell whether your devs are refactoring well. Now, it's the job of your mentors to figure out how to get them from their current state to the state where all of these things are true. But fundamentally, you can tell that your team is refactoring well when refactoring is not an issue. When stories don't get slowed down because we need to refactor. When refactoring never shows up as a story to do. A refactoring is seconds or maybe a minute long. You throw in a dozen of them on every task. When developers incrementally make the code a little better as a side effect of doing their normal work, and every feature improves the system rather than makes it worse, then your devs are refactoring well. To get this, you need good legacy mentors who know how to refactor well and know how to teach it. The second is to get into the tiny commit mindset. Now, we all know small commits have a lower chance of causing bugs. There's actually some evidence that shows smaller commits are better for productivity in all ways. People who commit more often create fewer bugs, get more stories done per unit time. They leave the code in a better state. It's just they end up better. And in fact, it appears to be that it is a controlling measure. If you help someone check in faster, no matter what corners they try to cut, as long as they're doing some of the basics, they're forced to actually improve the abilities that lead to that good outcome. So when I say tiny commits, I mean tiny. I mean that the median time between check-ins is measured in 1 to 2 minutes, right? Sometimes 3. There's never more than 20 minutes between commits. And the only time that shows up is someone tried something, failed and reverted, tried, failed, reverted, tried, failed, reverted, and they got it on their 5th try. This also demonstrates how comfortable devs are with backtracking. They'll try something, they'll commit, they'll move forward 4 or 5 check-ins and then go, oh, I made a mistake. And they'll just revert back, go a different direction. Do this several times. Code reviews don't even look at most of the commits. They just look at the risky ones, and you can know which those are. Getting to this tiny commit mindset where commits just flow from every developer, again, requires legacy mentors who have been there and know how to teach it. And the last thing that people expected me to say is to learn to unit test. I actually disagree with that. Many people hold unit testing as the most important technical skill, the thing that delivers all of these abilities. And then they go learn all sorts of complicated testing techniques, like how to use mocks, how to do dependency injection. All of these allow them to test poorly designed code and pretend under test that it were well designed. Unfortunately, this leaves your code poorly designed. And as we learned from the first couple of myths, bugs come from bad code. They don't come from untested code. Which means by focusing on testability, you're leaving all of the bug generation in there. You're keeping your ability to create bugs and low quality. You're just adding tests around it. Instead, testability can be a useful measure to tell you which code is likely to be bad. Code that is easy to test is also code that won't generate bugs. So the key skill is learning how to refactor code such that it is easy to test, such that you don't need dependency injection or mocks or any of those advanced techniques in order to test it. You test it in the obvious way. This is a fundamental culture shift. It requires some skills, those skills in refactoring, but more so it requires a change in goal. We devs have learned to value tested code, and we're actually valuing the wrong thing. And we need help from our coaches and our leaders to see that so that we can start valuing the right thing, which is code that is easy to test, such that it almost doesn't matter whether we end up writing the test because the code is good. So it's up to us as leaders and coaches to help do that shift. Again, the focus is first improve people's skills, then adopt the tools, and now you can start leveraging the combination. And there will be more skills. These are the ones the DevOps people talk about in order to leverage the basic skills plus the tools. So if you're a developer, the first thing, the most important thing, is to find someone on your team who has refactored untested code and make them your mentor. Because that person has done the thing in legacy that is hard and that is necessary in order to start working in a DevOps way. Anyone who really knows how to refactor untested code is going to work in small chunks. They're going to be able to get you to the new way of thinking. And if you are a leader, you need to find the right mentors and then create a shared technical skill roadmap that aligns everybody, that shows everybody what are the sequence of abilities, skills, and responsibilities that devs need to grow through over time so that people can identify where they're at and they can know what they need to learn next. Again, if you want help creating such a roadmap, check out the link below in the description where we have some guides to help you create these roadmaps. Thank you for listening to this conversation. We've talked about one of the 4 DevOps myths, truths that are not yet true for you. I encourage you to subscribe to this channel and listen to the rest of the playlist so that we can help you build a roadmap that will take you from your current state to the point where DevOps and these myths become true for you.